Good evening. This is zoning board of appeals for October 3rd, 2019. I'll call the meeting to order. We'll start off with the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, next is roll call.
Wes Pettit.
William LePage.
George Slingo.
John Glenn.
Myrtle City.
Okay. Public hearing for Cheryl Leto.
It's all good.
I'll open the public hearing at 7:05. Would you please come up? State your name for the record and tell us what you'd like to do.
All right. My name is Cheryl Leto. I reside at 38 West Dudley Road. It's a 3.5-acre parcel located at the corner of Fish Road and West Dudley Road. And first I want to say thank you for hearing me, but I also want to apologize because I've been aware of the zoning bylaw that requires a special permit to keep chickens on the property. And I've resided at 38 West Dudley Road for 3 years, and quite frankly, it just escaped me. I knew I had to apply for this permit, but it just escaped me. A couple of months ago, I was at the Board of Health hearing, and then I was like, oh, I better take care of business. So I came down right away to apply. I do have some documentation. You know, I'm not unfamiliar with this process, so I did bring some documentation with me detailing.
Can you please
Okay.
bring it up?
And I have 5 copies. I have some pictures. There's 5 copies. There's only one photograph in the set of photographs. So the first document is my plot plan, and it shows I've hand sketched in the location of my coop and the run. I also have a Google Earth photograph so you can see, you know, where my neighbors reside in location to the property. And then the second paper is also a sketch of the actual, you know, the coop, the run, and we have a little pasture area, and it has the dimensions on it. So you can have an idea of how we keep the birds. And then for your entertainment, there's photographs of the coop to see that they actually have a better lifestyle than I do. But just also to give you the sense of the kind of, you know, pet keepers we are and how we keep our birds.
Thank you. George, can I see the plot plan? Yeah, that one. We don't have a dimension. 73.
I do have a couple questions for you, you know, when you're ready. The first was, I think there was an oversight on my part when I made this application. It is my intention to homestead on the property when I retire, and so in the future, my hope was to perhaps have goats and also potentially other birds than chickens. So my question is, do I have to go through this permitting process again? Should I decide to get goats? Or can that be amended in this hearing? And then the second question is, can the words chickens be changed to poultry? So in the future, it might include other fowl or birds. So those are just questions. I understand if it can't happen today, but it did occur to me afterwards, like, oh, you know, I probably should have been a little more thoughtful of the long process.
What do you think about?
I think we should hold off on making about that. Just deal with this. That's for another day.
Okay, yeah, if I have to go through it again, you know, if I'm,
We'll have to-
yeah, I understand.
There's things to consider beyond what's right here. Let's just work on this.
No problem.
Are there any abutters? Would you like to speak? All right. Any board members have any questions?
Well, how many hens do you have?
I have a total of 18. 17 are hens and 1 rooster.
And your lot is approximately 3.5 acres?
Yes. Yep.
Is there anybody in the audience that is opposed to this? Any abutters in the audience that are opposed?
Mr. Chairman, could I ask a question? Your closest neighbor, and I kind of know this, but I just want to get it on the record. What's your closest neighbor, you think?
I believe it's Karen's Printing, and then they have tenants in the front of their print shop.
Yeah, distance-wise, 300-400 feet, 250?
From where the coop is, or,
Yeah,
oh, yeah. My driveway is 350 feet long, so probably diagonally, I'd say at least 200, maybe 250, if we were to do a straight line from where the
yeah,
coop is.
just for the record, Mr. Chairman, you know, she doesn't have any close neighbors. And, you know, we all know Fish Road isn't mine. She's probably a couple hundred feet from the main road or whatever she put on there, and then the back, she's a couple hundred feet too. And I had done the site visit, and what she's got on that plan is pretty accurate.
Yeah, I'm not aware of any complaints from any neighbor. As it is, you know, my neighbors walk our neighborhood very often with their dogs and so forth, and most people compliment the coop and, or just say, hey, I saw your chickens out there, and, you know, with my kids or what have you, but I'm not aware of anyone having an issue with them.
She didn't know I was going here today, and I mean, it looks as nice there as those pictures. I mean, it's really nice, clean.
All right. No more questions from the board?
Well, I just have a question, I guess, for us, is the application doesn't say how many chickens, it just says chickens, it doesn't put a quantity. Should we discuss a number of chickens that the application would be for?
We can do that. We can do that after we close the public hearing.
Okay.
That'd be between
Okay,
us.
got it.
Okay, I'll close the public hearing at 7:13.
Make a motion, we close the public hearing.
I'll make a motion. Motion's been made
Second.
and second to close the public hearing at 7:13. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. So your question
Oh,
is,
well, my question is, should we, the application doesn't give a number of chickens. It seems to me there should be a maximum. I don't know what that is, but just on paper, it should have a maximum number of chickens.
okay. Any comment from anybody else?
How many?
I would say with 3.5 acres, you know, if it was 5 acres, they could have unlimited.
Oh, yeah.
At 5 acres, there would be no limit.
Okay.
3.5 acres,
18?
That's the,
that's
Am
what
I
she has
outside?
right now. Jeez.
3.5 acres, you're gonna have 18 chickens?
I'd say 30,
30?
that'd be my guess.
30?
But I'm just throwing a number out there.
Kenny Court, 63 West Dudley Road. This item, this number of chickens and livestock and poultry, et cetera, is, I'm sure you gentlemen are aware, is part of the discussion the Board of Health is having.
It is.
I have been looking into it myself, trying to find some guidelines as to suggested amount of acreage per se that every creature should have, all right? And I found one in the New Hampshire Extension Service, all right, that says for the, inside the living area, if I remember correctly, it was 5 or 6 square feet, and having exercise area of roughly 50 square feet, or 50 square feet. So if you're looking at putting, extrapolate that over 3 acres or whatever, the, you know, it's depending on the number of chickens, it's leaves you a lot of latitude, so to speak. I've checked with the Massachusetts Extension Service. They have referred me to the Agricultural Commission. I have an inquiry in there, and I'm still waiting because it's Massachusetts. But there was no table that I could find by searching online, but searching through in New Hampshire on their the website, there was a table that had for, you know, horses, cows, all mature farm animals that had a certain size. And if I remember, like the horses, they recommended to have a minimum of an acre. I don't have horses, so, you know, irrelevant. But the part about the chickens, it was, you know, a fairly minimal area per bird. And if you have 3.5 acres, I'll leave it to you, gentlemen. But I have no other guidelines nothing from the state of Massachusetts that maybe you're more likely to hear more from good old Massachusetts than New Hampshire, but again, I could not find it. And I'm waiting for a Michael Cahill at the Department of Agriculture to get back to me.
Thank you.
Welcome.
George, what's his name?
Excuse me, sir? What was your name again?
Ken Porch,
Ken Korch.
63 West Dudley.
K-O-C-H?
Pardon?
K-O-C-H?
Korch. And I do walk by her chickens. And her coop is disgusting. Solar, it's taking care of so nicely. It's
So you're thinking about a limit?
Well, there are some guidelines that the Board of Health is talking about, but I guess for the sake of this application, 30. Open to suggestions. I mean, it's 18 today, but, you know, it could be more
Mm-hmm.
in the future. So maybe,
Well, she already stated that she'd like more. How many were you planning on purchasing or raising, I should say?
Well, if you've ever kept chickens, you know that's a difficult number to reach. I really don't have any idea. I think 3 dozen is, you know, that's a reasonable amount. I can't really imagine myself having more than that, quite frankly. So I think if you have to put a number, I think that's a reasonable number.
For this particular
I do
petition.
want to say I am aware that the Board of Health is considering their own set of guidelines. And obviously, if I exceed those guidelines, I would have to go through this process with them, and, you know, that's not an issue for me. But if you do need to put a number, you know, I will defer to your judgment.
Okay, thank you. Somebody want to make a motion?
So she has 18 presently?
She has 18 and one rooster. And one rooster.
I would feel more comfortable capping it at what she has now until Board of Health comes out with these guidelines, which should be in the near future. Does that make sense?
No,
Or,
because through us, she has to record it and everything else, and then she'd have to have it changed. She'd have to come back and get it changed.
even if it's through Board of Health's guidelines,
Right.
because we would cap it? Oh, okay.
I'd be more comfortable probably if she wants, I was saying 30, but 36, I don't have a problem with that. Where she meets all the setbacks and everything, I don't have a problem with any of that. The only issue that I have is the rooster itself. And this board has to be somewhat consistent. So I'm only one person, but I would, because you don't have 5 acres, I would say that the rooster has to go, but you can have the chicken, you know, the female chickens. But I'm only one vote.
And I would be willing to defer to, again, to the Board of Health regulations as well, where they do restrict roosters except with a special permit from them. As I said before, no one's ever complained, but I would certainly address a complaint if one did.
I think I could see in the future, after the Board of Health does everything, that a person would be allowed to come back again for a special permit for rooster.
Yeah, but they would have to notify and post everything and go through everything.
Yeah. Well, my thoughts would be 3 dozen chickens and no rooster. For consistency.
So I make a motion that we issue the special permit limiting to 36 chickens, no rooster, and that's the only condition. Those are the conditions.
Okay, a motion's been made
Second.
and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We have a motion to adjourn, or do we have more paperwork? Okay, motion to adjourn?
I make a motion that we adjourn our hearing.
Second?
Motion's been made and seconded to adjourn. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Great.